When it comes to healthy eating, fruits are often praised as nature's candy, sweet, natural, and packed with essential nutrients. However, if you are living with diabetes, this sweetness can be more harmful than helpful. While fruits offer essential vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and fiber, some varieties can spike your blood sugar quickly, making blood sugar control more difficult. In this article, we'll explore 7 high-sugar fruits that people with diabetes should either avoid or consume with caution, and we'll offer healthier alternatives that are friendlier to blood sugar levels. All recommendations are backed by evidence-based medicine and guided by Dr. Frieda, a board-certified nephrologist and internal medicine physician. Understanding glycemic index and glycemic load. Before diving into the list, it's essential to understand 2 key concepts: glycemic index, or GI, and glycemic load, or GL. Glycemic index ranks foods on a scale from 0 to 100 based on how fast they raise blood sugar levels. The higher the number, the faster your glucose spikes. So, low GI is 0 to 55, medium GI is 56 to 69, and high GI is 70 to 100. Glycemic load, on the other hand, considers both the GI and the actual carbohydrate content in a typical serving of food. It gives a more realistic picture of how a food affects your blood sugar. Low GL is 0 to 10, medium GL is 11 to 19, and high GL is 20 or more. While GI is useful for comparing foods, GL is more accurate when deciding portion sizes and overall impact on blood sugar. 1. Overripe bananas. Glycemic index 56 to 75. Sugar, about 14 grams per medium banana. Bananas are beloved for their convenience and natural sweetness, but as bananas ripen, their starch converts into sugar, increasing their glycemic index significantly. Overripe bananas in particular cause a rapid rise in blood sugar, making them a risky choice for diabetics. A healthy alternative is apples. Glycemic index 36. Apples are a high-fiber fruit rich in pectin, a form of soluble fiber that slows down the absorption of sugar into the bloodstream. This helps prevent blood sugar spikes and promotes a feeling of fullness. 2. Watermelon. Glycemic index 75 to 80. Carbohydrates about 9 grams per serving. Glycemic load around 5 to 6. Watermelon is refreshing and hydrating, but its high GI means it raises blood sugar rapidly. However, due to its high water content, it has a low GL, meaning a small portion is generally safe if eaten in moderation. The problem is that people often eat too much in one sitting. A healthy alternative is strawberries. Glycemic index 40. Strawberries are rich in fiber, vitamin C, and antioxidants. They have a low GI and can even enhance insulin sensitivity, making them an ideal fruit for diabetics. 3. Pineapple. Fresh pineapple has a glycemic index ranging from 51 to 66, but when it's canned in syrup, that number can shoot up to 94. A cup of fresh pineapple contains about 16 grams of sugar, while canned varieties can pack up to 25 grams in just half a cup. Pineapples are tropical delights, sure, but their high sugar content, especially when canned, makes them, well, rather dangerous for blood glucose control. Canned pineapples, often stored in syrup, have extremely high glycemic index values and can really destabilize blood sugar levels. Now, a healthy alternative would be oranges. With a glycemic index of around 40, oranges are loaded with soluble fiber and vitamin C, which help to regulate glucose absorption. It's best to choose whole oranges instead of juice to get the full benefit of the fiber content. 4. Grapes. Their glycemic index is about 56, and a single cup contains 23 grams of sugar. Grapes may seem harmless, but their tiny size and high sweetness make it just so easy to overindulge. The fructose load is high, and honestly, it's not uncommon to eat multiple servings in one sitting, leading to those unintentional blood sugar spikes. As a healthier alternative, consider blackberries. With a glycemic index between 25 and 30, and only 7 grams of sugar per cup, blackberries are low in sugar and high in fiber and antioxidants, including anthocyanins, which support blood vessel health and improve glucose metabolism. 5. Mangoes. Their glycemic index falls between 51 and 60, and each fruit contains about 36 grams of sugar. Mangoes are often praised for their sweet tropical flavor, but they're also one of the most sugary fruits out there. Eating even one mango can cause a significant glucose surge, which can be quite hard to control for diabetics. For a healthy swap, try blueberries. With a glycemic index between 28 and 40 and roughly 7 grams of sugar per serving, blueberries are packed with antioxidants and fiber, offering a perfect blend of sweet and tart. They help slow sugar absorption and protect against oxidative stress. 6. Dried fruits, raisins, dried cranberries, etc. So let's talk about dried fruits, like raisins and dried cranberries. Their glycemic index can be as high as 64. Now, during dehydration, these fruits lose their water, which, well, concentrates the sugar and calories into a much smaller volume. For example, a handful of dried cranberries actually contains much more sugar than the same amount of fresh cranberries. This means just a small serving can really increase your risk of sugar spikes, but there are healthy alternatives you can try. Fresh figs, with a glycemic index of 35, are moist, sweet, and offer fiber, with only about 8 grams of sugar per medium fig. Fresh cranberries, which have a glycemic index of 45, are tart, packed with antioxidants, and a much better choice than dried ones. And fresh apricots, with a glycemic index of 34, contain only around 3 grams of sugar each, and their water content actually helps slow sugar absorption. These fresh alternatives keep their moisture, which dilutes the sugar concentration and, well, helps with better blood sugar regulation. 7. Sweet cherries. Sweet cherries, while absolutely delicious, actually have a high glycemic index and pack about 18 grams of sugar in just 1 cup. Unfortunately, they just don't have enough fiber to balance all that sugar out. Their glycemic profile is, well, a bit closer to candy than to whole fruit, really. They can be especially troublesome when used in drinks or desserts. Now, if you're looking for a healthier swap, raspberries are a fantastic choice. They're loaded with fiber, antioxidants, and have that lovely sweet tart flavor. Plus, raspberries are excellent for controlling glucose levels and can totally satisfy your sugar cravings in a much healthier way. There's a bit of a bonus here, and it's something I like to call the berry advantage. You might have noticed that when it comes to healthy fruit alternatives, berries, like strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries, keep popping up. So why is that? Well, berries usually have a low glycemic index, typically under 40, and they're high in fiber, which helps slow down sugar absorption. They're also rich in antioxidants, which are great for fighting inflammation. And honestly, they're just delicious and incredibly versatile. If you're managing diabetes, making berries your go-to fruit is one of the best choices you can make for stable blood sugar levels. So, what should diabetics do with all this information? Well, knowing which fruits to avoid doesn't mean you need to give up fruit altogether, not at all. Here are 3 smart strategies to keep in mind. First, practice portion control. Even higher glycemic index fruits can be okay in small, carefully measured amounts. Second, pair fruits with protein or fiber. Try combining fruit with things like nuts, yogurt, or oats to help slow down glucose absorption. And finally, focus on whole, fresh fruits. Choose whole fruits over juices or dried fruits whenever possible, since they retain their fiber and reduce the sugar impact. At the end of the day, living with diabetes doesn't mean you have to give up sweet treats. It just means making smarter, evidence-based choices. The 7 fruits we've talked about, overripe bananas, watermelon, pineapples, grapes, mangoes, dried fruits, and sweet cherries, can really spike your blood sugar if you're not careful. But the good news is, there are so many delicious and nutritious alternatives out there. By learning how different foods affect your blood sugar and planning your meals with glycemic impact in mind, you can absolutely enjoy fruit safely while maintaining healthy glucose levels. And don't forget, berries are your best friend. So, which of these high-sugar fruits surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below.